back to Central PA Live. Well, it's time for some cocktails. I'm here with Dave from Fine Wine and Good Spirits. Dave, always good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And probably my favorite holiday of the year. I love New Year's because I kind of like the new beginning, and it's always such, everybody gets dressed up, and it's a holiday with your friends. And as much as I love my family after the holidays, it's always nice to kind of just spend some time with some friends. And obviously, the cocktail that goes with New Year's Eve is champagne.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have two champagne-based cocktails here.
All right.
But let's just talk about this wonderful magic beverage that so many of us pop, sparkle, and toast to every single New Year's Eve.
I think everybody loves champagne, yeah.
Absolutely. So champagne itself, champagne comes from one region in France. That's it. Everything else is sparkling wine. So if we think about Italy, we think about things like Prosecco.
I was just going to say, so Prosecco
Spain,
wouldn't be considered a champagne.
Cava,
Okay.
exactly. In Spain, it's Cava. In the United States, it's sparkling wine. So only champagne comes from Champagne, France, and it's just such a beautiful product. Just some interesting facts on champagne. Champagne must be fermented inside the bottle. So basically, they do an initial fermentation,
Wow.
put the wine in the bottle, add extra yeast, some fresh wine, and then they do a secondary fermentation. That traps the bubbles inside the bottle. So the pressure inside a champagne bottle is actually 3 times that of an average car tire. So think about that.
Wow. So that's like why when you pop the cork, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen like on America's Funniest Home Videos or any of those, or YouTube or whatever, the amount of injuries that can happen. Because the pressure in there is really a lot.
It's huge, and when the cork comes out, it can come out at up to 100 miles an hour, so you definitely don't want to point it at anybody.
Wow.
So when we think about champagnes, they vary in style from being very sweet. So if we look for the word doux is the French word for sweet,
Yep.
all the way up to brut. Brut is the word for dry, and it does go on either side of that, but think the one thing I want to make sure everybody knows is extra dry and brut. Extra dry has a little bit of sweetness, even though the word dry is in there. Brut is even more dry.
Okay.
So,
and we have to get to making the cocktails here,
Yes.
but and I never even asked you if we could do this or not, but I'm going to do it anyway. You have a YouTube channel where you talk about all this stuff, especially with the wines. What's the name of your show on YouTube?
it is called No Wine in No Time, like
Yeah,
K-N-O-W.
No Wine in No Time, and he gives you all this information. I love watching the videos. You learn so much, and of course, like you said, you kind of know all the language to look for on the bottles and things that sell differently. But we are on time limit, so we have to get to making the cocktails.
Okay.
All right, so what are we making?
So the first one is called a Very Merry Sparkler. So we're going to go ahead and start out with Don Julio Blanco Tequila, 100% agave, and we're going to put 1 ounce in a shaker.
Now, people might not know what that means. What does what's the difference between a 100% agave or a tequila that you might see more often?
Well, the best tequilas start out with 100% agave. That's the cactus that they roast and distill to make tequila out of. Then we're going to add 2 ounces of blood orange juice.
Yum.
And we're going to add 1 ounce of honey. And we're going to put this in the shaker because honey's just a little bit difficult to mix up. Shake that up. We're going to pour that in a flute, and we're going to top that off with a little bit of Moet and Chandon.
You know what's funny about this one is normally when I have food, when we're in the kitchen making food, I always say, I say this all the time, and I wish blah blah blah. I wish everybody at home could smell this because it smells so good. With cocktails, you don't get that as often. This already smells good.
It really does. Sorry, I spilled over there a little bit. And that's what happens with such an active product like champagne.
I mean, first just take a look. Look how beautiful that is. It's just, I mean, I think about like a New Year's Eve party. If you were to have people over for maybe some appetizers before you went out, or before the party you had a cocktail hour, this would be a wonderful signature cocktail to put out.
Absolutely gorgeous. And the next one we have is called a Midnight Twist. So
Wow,
while
and
you're
tasty,
savoring
too.
that, are you enjoying that?
Yeah.
We're going to start out with Blue Coat American Gin. So when we think about different styles of gin, this is a pretty much like a London dry gin. So think piney, think very dry, very refreshing. But this one's actually made in Philadelphia. How about that?
All right, right down the road.
Yeah, so we're going to put 1.5.
Hop on the turnpike. You're there.
Put 1.5 ounces in our shaker. 1 ounce of lemon juice. Then to balance things out, 1 ounce of simple syrup. Simple syrup is just sugar and water.
Yep.
But this particular one comes from the wine and spirit, so it's already made up for you. We're going to go ahead and shake this. And when we look at champagne glasses, that one that we have is called a flute.
Obviously.
The traditional
Yep.
champagne glass is one called a coupe glass. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit on top of that. And we are going to top that off with just a little bit of champagne and then garnish it with an extra fancy lemon rind.
Wow. Again, just pretty to look at, too, really. Let's take a look at that quick before I take a sip. Dave, it's always nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
All the best in 2019.
Absolutely. And of course, we like to always remind everybody to please drink responsibly. And if you'd like any of these recipes, they're available on our website, which is centralpatv.com. We'll be right back.